All right, happy Labor Day, Strato fans. I've been thinking a lot about relief pitchers. I was looking at the stats at the league we just got done, and I noticed there's a set of relief pitchers, mostly for my buddy Dan, that did really well. Um, and there's guys that, frankly, have high on base, but it's almost all walks, dominated by walks. So I took a look and at the stats and the chances, and I did kind of a percentage of for relief pitchers only for on base percentage that's coming from walks versus hits. Um, kind of the thought process is, relievers late in the game, a walk. You usually got your defensive replacements in at second and short, setting up the double play and the lack of speed in the 2022 set. Even though a lot of these guys have high holds, probably is going to limit the risk of a stolen base, so it sets up that double play. And with a walk, you're not driving a run in unless the bases are loaded, which is probably not happening. So I talk about dudes and duds. I'm going to cover 4 or 5 guys that I think are dudes. Share a little bit of the stats that they did in our league, and then a couple guys that I think are maybe overvalued duds that on the flip side for relievers. So enjoy. All right, we're going to start with the dudes. Again, the thought process here is relievers that give up walks, but they don't give up hits. Therefore, inherited runners are not going to score on those single 2 asterisks or doubles. Their total bases are real low. And some of them have high holds, unfortunately. But again, you'll have defense up the middle that'll set up the double play. So let's go and take a look at the dudes. All right, I'm going to start with Devin Williams. Devin Williams in our league, guy just dominated. He had 11 games. He had a 0.59 ERA, 15 and a third innings. He gave up 12 walks, but he only gave up 8 hits. And he came in and saved a bunch of games. So, again, here's a guy who, if he's going to give up a base runner, he's going to give up the walks. But his +4 hold is not terrible, so you're not super exposed to a stolen base. A little exposure against lefties, but even then it's mostly singles, except that 4-5 double 1 to 9. So he keeps the ball, gets a couple base runners on base, but ultimately doesn't hurt you nearly as much. And again, you've got second base and shortstop defense in, sets up that double play. So this guy is going completely undervalued. He's going 131st right now in the Strato drafts, and I think he's much, much better than that. All right, the next guy, the cherry, Ron Marinaccio. Again, very similar, right? I mean, he gives up the walks. A little different because he's got a +6 hold, so you do have more exposure to the stolen base. But again, he's going to give up base runners, but it's going to be walks. So even if there's a guy on second, you're not going to have that single that drives in the run. For in our league, the guy, again, 1.66 ERA, 21 and 2/3 innings. He gave up 16 walks, but only 7 hits. So he might give up the base runners, but they just stand out there. He's going 176 in Strato Tournament Players Club average draft position. So in my opinion, this guy is a steal, definitely undervalued. All right, the next guy is a little bit more higher draft position. Alex Vesia. He's currently going 129th. He's rated as the 5th left-handed reliever. This guy's great. Again, he gives up a little bit of walks. He's a left-hander. I think there's a couple other left-handed relievers that are going ahead of him that probably are of at least equal value, if not worse. Against lefties, he's dominated. Even against righties, he's got a couple singles. Of course, you don't like to see that 5.9 double 2 asterisks. But ultimately, the guy is doing well. For us, he had a 2.40 ERA, 15 innings, 11 walks, but only 6 hits. So again, just shows that getting those runners on with the walks for relief pitchers at least didn't hurt these guys. All right, Zach Jackson. Now we're getting into a couple guys that give up a lot of walks, but again, they have not hurt them. And this guy you can get for super value, 252nd. I mean, he's going undrafted in a lot of places. For us, he had a 3.07 ERA, 14 and 2/3 innings, 16 walks, and he gave up a little bit more hits, 14 hits, but again, it didn't hurt him. So Zach Jackson, you can get him dirt cheap, one of your last picks, and he can do some things, get some outs for you. And finally, a little bonus coverage. This guy is going undrafted in almost every league. I don't know if he's ever even been drafted, but it goes with the theme, right? Amir Garrett, left-hander, +9 hold. So that's the problem with here. The walks are going to get exposure to getting him to second base. But again, look, just walks against lefties, against righties. He's got just walks basically. He's got a triple 1 to 9 and a double 1 to 5, but fly ball otherwise. So, a guy that's worth a gamble, right? If you're looking for a reliever, you need another left-handed arm. No, he's on nobody's radar, so you can get him for their last pick in the draft. Yeah, it's worth a gamble. These kind of guys have done well for us in our league, at least last time. All right, we're going to take a look at a couple duds. Again, these are not bad relief pitchers at all, but these are the guys that when they do give up base runners as relievers, their extra base hits, their total bases are high, their walks are low, so therefore the on base that they do give up hurts them more so than the previous guys with walks. So not bad relievers, but I do think they're overvalued with current draft position, average draft position. All right, we're going to start with Eric Swanson, or TV Dinner. His biggest issue is that 4-5, 4-6, the open doubles against lefties. And, not just doubles with open doubles. So, you got an inherited runner on first, and he's got a chance to score. So, guy just gives up a lot of inherited runners. Doesn't walk a ton of guys. But again, especially against lefties, it definitely has that exposure. He's currently going 116th, his average draft position. I think that's too high for him. In our league, he had a 5.79 ERA. Really just got rocked. So someone who I feel is overvalued. All right, Mr. Duran, who is a really good reliever, don't get me wrong, and he's going 101st currently in average draft position, which is pretty good. He had a great year in our league with a 0.75 ERA, but his issue, again, is the extra base hits, right? He's got that 5-11 against righties, that homer 1 to 12, that just crushes them. And he's got that exposure against lefties as well for some base hits. So not great with his extra base hits, and definitely gives up some inherited runners. All right, Penn Murphy, he's going 170th average draft position. He had a decent year for his 2.25 ERA. But again, his issue there is that 4.9, the 4.8 double 1 to 19, and then 4.9 triple 1 to 9 double open double 10 to 20. So again, gives up a lot of inherited runners, a lot of total bases against lefties. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, but has a ton of exposure. Again, with those open doubles and high total bases. So, though a pretty good reliever, do think 170th, even though that's pretty low, might be overvalued. All right, last but not least is Garrett Whitlock. There's a lot to like about this guy. He's a reliever of 3, so he can eat up some innings for you. But again, his big exposure is that 4.8 double and that 4.9 homer 1 to 5 double, open double 6 to 20, and they're both open doubles. So again, that guy on first base can come around and score. So he had a 3.57 ERA. He's going 233rd average draft position, so it's real cheap. But again, his exposure is just giving up those inherent runners, so those open doubles really can hurt you. He's a guy that I would steer clear from even at 233rd. All right, I hope you enjoyed that concept again, kind of toying around with the idea of value of relief pitchers, of guys that give up a ton of walks, but almost exclusively just walks are of higher value. And, maybe guys or relievers that don't walk as many, but they give up those total bases, and especially those open doubles in a relief capacity really can burn you, and you might want to steer clear of. A shout out. I wanted to give a shout out that there's a tournament coming up, a combined tournament, Vegas and Phoenix, October 13th through 15th. First time we've tried this with one division in Phoenix and one division in Las Vegas. So if you're interested, send a note and we'll get that information. Again, that's October 13th through 15th as a Stratomatic Tournament Players Club tournament upcoming. Have a great day.